from thatshelf.com. I hope you are doing well during these crazy times.
I am dodging COVID like Mario Brothers or some shit. I'm like, oh God, not today, Satan.
Big change.
You are in a weird show and you play a weird character and we don't know what the heck you're doing.
I'm wondering so weird for me, right?
Yeah, because you have no experience playing on bizarre shows.
Yeah.
So we'll get into Buffy in a second, but specifically talking about WandaVision, I want to know how much was explained to you before you took on the role.
Nothing.
Haha.
No, Jack Schaefer, who created things, genius, and I worked with her on Timer. She gave me just like a little bit of intel. Because she had called and asked if I would do it, and I was like, absolutely. And she said, I just need Kevin Feige to approve you, so I just need you to basically put on something pretty, clap like a monkey, do your thing, and get him to sign off on you, and then come to Atlanta. And I did exactly that, and it was like a week or two later or something, I was in Canada, and once we did the table read, I think the first day I was there with Lizzie and Paul and Catherine and Matt, director, and Jack and a few other people, and then I heard it, and I was like seeing it form. I was like, okay, all right. I still was like, wait, okay, so are we literally doing like exactly how identical to this sort of the sitcom world am I doing? Like, there was a lot of getting the technical aspect right, making sure that, and we Courtney, who's the most insanely awesome, just funny and cool vocal coach, to get the Mid-Atlantic and get how you sit and how just to get that right was super important. The technical aspect first, before I could even do a performance. I just needed to make sure that I had that voice and that, oh yes, and I'm not even doing it right now. Dottie,
Were there specific shows? Were there specific shows that you guys targeted? Obviously, there's the things like Bewitched and the more obvious, but were there things that we might not have sort of picked up upon? Maybe some horror films, for example, that maybe drew that very specific kind of character, which is somehow sinister but somehow helpful. We really don't know what's going to happen.
That's just my personality, I'm afraid. No, for this, for the 60s, the episode 3 were in the 70s. So for the 60s, it's very much watch Dick Van Dyke, right. Watch Bewitched, really just get into the flow of how they communicated in a sitcom. So not just how you sound during that period of time, but really how heightened everything is in the sitcom. So, being the villain, being the town queen bee meanie, it's like, how were they? There were many to choose from. So it's like, they all had this kind of way about them. You still have to be sitcom funny. Mm. Well, that kind of sitcom, so it was just taking a lot from how they used to do it, and then what I knew about my character, once I was in it, I was given, I think, pretty much all the information. I might have had to wait a couple of more episodes before I got, toward the end. But then I knew, I was like, okay, so this is the whole thing. This is the whole world. This is the journey. Like, okay, so I could, piece that together.
I guess what I'm getting at, this might be pushing too far, but what's for me fascinating about it is this collision between the sitcom, the sort of superficially funny, and there's this incredible dread, right? There's this ominousness. And so I'm wondering whether or not you looked at something like Stepford Wives or something like Manchurian Candidate or any of these sort of, because the 60s was full and the 70s were full of these wonderful effervescent comedies that deflected the real horrors of life, but also got some real dark madness from a whole bunch of other things. Navigating that tone, if you as a performer draw upon any of those elements, or basically are you working from the words on the page and making sure you have good direction and just getting from A to B, because that's what you got to do in a project like that.
Well, again, and I think initially my focus was getting all the technical stuff down. And once you start getting the technical stuff down of how she's going to stand and sort of the gracefulness of the moves and the voice and how everything, the rhythm of that, there's its own rhythm, then you start kind of feeling like, okay, all right. And then it takes on this life. And based on what I knew, I was like, okay, I need to, for that particular for episode 2, it was very much the girl in the know, the one you have to get, if you're not in with her, you're done. You have to impress her. Everybody kind of cowers to her, so you have to, and that is definitely not my experience.
I was going to say, were you ever that
popular.
Girl?
No,
were you that girl in high school?
No, I was not. I was like the outcast. I was not. There were definite periods growing up where I was just like, I can't be at this school anymore. Like, I can't do this. I need to feel like I belong somewhere. I definitely did not feel that way. I had, my friends here and there, but like my whole, like, if you just took a feeling for like grades, like middle school, grade school through high school, it was very much like one who does not belong, who's always looking to try to belong, fit, and never quite did. So,
so where did you first?
I knew people who were like that.
Where did you first belong?
Well, I felt very comfortable. I studied. I sound like such a shit. I studied. Went to a school in England called TASIS, which stood for the American School in Switzerland, but they had satellite bases all over Europe for the summer between my junior and senior year. And you could study anything there. And people came from all over the world to study whatever, science, math, art, drama, you name it. And I chose drama because, like, why not? I don't know. I was always kind of like a ham, and being, I guess, in the arts, it felt like that seemed like a fairly safe space to try different things. And when I was there and I was away from all the people that I had basically grown up with, because I was with the same group of people, it was like a college prep school from the time I was, 11, 12, all the way up. So it was really this core group of people that we just, for the most part, were just not my people. When I was with just new, like, I felt very like, oh, okay, like I can.
You were there.
I can stop being like on guard all the time. Like
we have to wrap, but I got to get the last question in. If you could talk about your experience on this versus something crazy like Buffy and how it's changed your relationship with fandom.
Well, I would say, when I did Buffy, we didn't have the social media aspect. We didn't have a built-in audience, really. We didn't have comics. We didn't have this huge world that is living and breathing and thriving. And I just entered into it this time. Buffy was just its little thing, and it came up, and no one really knew how it was going. We didn't have like this living organism of the internet, so when I was announced, it was like, it was just this sort of instant, who am I and what's happening? And when it aired, it's even more so. And there's all these very cool theories and rumors and whatever. And of course I can't address anything. So I just sit back and watch. And, I didn't have that. I've never had that before with anything. And that has a lot to do with the time we're in, and it also just has to do with the enormous world that is Marvel, which I'm so stoked I've been able to like get in it. It's like being one of the cool kids.
Well, this is exactly what I'm saying. I guess what it is about being in this Marvel thing is you are now the center of attention. You are now that person that everyone's wanting their stuff from.
So
you won. Congratulations, you survived.
I haven't won. I haven't. I am a work in progress. I am a work in progress.
Aren't we all? Well, thank you so much for a chat. All the best. Very nice talking to you.
Thank you. Nice talking to you.
Some more normal times, and enjoy the ride. Enjoy the interaction. I look forward to you being able to talk to fans about what the stuff actually happened.
I know, right? Check back in a year.
There you go. All the best. Take care.